Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. It is Q&A Tuesday. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. I really love to share the things that I know with all of you. So I hope you'll take a second, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and at the end of this video helps you, I hope that you will share it. So let's get started. All right, what is Q&A Tuesday? Q&A Tuesday is a show where I take all of the questions from viewer comments, from Instagram, from direct emails, and I put it all into one episode. So thank you to everybody who submitted a question. If you are interested in submitting your question, please comment below or shoot me an email, and let's get started. All right, first question. I was going to say next question. First question. How do I know if the degree program that I am in makes me eligible to sit for the RHIA or the RHIT designation? First, if you don't know, the RHIA is the Registered Health Information Administrator, and this is if you have sat for an approved bachelor's degree program. This is the designation exam that you take at the end. And if you are trying to sit for the RHIT, that's the Registered Health Information Technician. This means that you have gone through the associate's degree program that is approved by the Commission on Accreditation for Health, Informatics, and Information Management. I am leaving the direct link for this website down in the description box below. This website, you can plug in the name of your school, the name of your program, and where it's at, online or in person, and it'll let you know if that program is approved with them. If it is, then you can sit for the AHIMA's RHIA, or if you're taking the associates, the RHIT. So please keep that in mind when you are trying to sign up for a program. This is going to be able to make you competitive because employers are looking for these. If you're in the degree programs, these are the designations that they are looking for. The RHIA if you're in the bachelor's, the RHIT if you are in the associates. So please just take full consideration of everything, okay? Ask lots of questions because it's a lot of money when you sign on that dotted line, okay? I'm just saying. All right, next question. How do you know what medical coding program to pick? So with medical coding, you have to be certified. If you're wanting to be a medical coder, you have to be certified with the American Health Information Management Association or the American Academy of Professional Coders. Any medical coding, medical billing and coding program is going to tell you if it prepares you for either one of these. If it does not, because there are other programs out there or other associations, if they're saying that they train you for those, please reconsider, because if you are wanting to be competitive as a medical coder, you have to be certified with AHIMA or AAPC. Now, when it comes to doing self-study, you can do self-study. I do have lots of videos about it. So you can skip the whole process of going to a trade school or going to an online school. You can do independent study on your own. I will leave the link for that video that I did down in the description box below, so that way you guys can check it out if you want to go that way. If you want to be a medical biller, you do not have to be certified at all. So if you that is what you want to do, then you can skip it all entirely and just go and apply to be a medical biller. Now, there is the CPB out there. So the CPB is the Certified Professional Biller that is offered with the American Academy of Professional Coders. Because you don't have to be certified to be a medical biller, and this is me, I'm not with AAPC at all, but I recommend that if you are wanting to get the CPB, that it's because you have your own business as a medical biller and you perhaps want to have something on your name to show people that you're trying to get a contract with, that you have had some formal education in addition to having experience. So that is just my recommendation on that one. All right. And I will also leave the link for the Jaded Biller. She is my friend on YouTube. Her name is Rachel. She has her own channel. She talks about having a medical billing business. Okay. So if you're curious about that, please show her some love and, and just say hi. All right. Next question. Do you recommend 8 weeks or 16-week courses? So I recommend that you go for as long as you possibly can. There's lots of accelerated programs out there. 8 weeks is just 2 months. 16 weeks is just 4 months. That is very fast for somebody to learn about medical coding. Any programs that are like really accelerated like that, it's going to be a lot of information at one time. And I will tell you guys that probably the biggest hurdle that people go through is the medical terminology, anatomy, and physiology. You have to go through those, and you have to really understand what these words mean in order to understand the documentation. It is impossible to not understand one and be able to understand the other. It's impossible. So please take your time. The average time that you should be in school for medical coding is between 9 and 16 months. Now, if I made it through in 6 months, but only because I'm naturally a reader and I study and I was really goal-oriented and focused, so I was able to make it through in 6 months. Not everybody can do this. This is very fast. But you really want to spend the most time that you can trying to learn. Because yes, if you choose to go to an accelerated program, you may be able to pass your exam. And some people have written me and said, well, I feel like I was only taught how to pass the exam, but now I'm in the real world and I don't know what I'm doing. That happens when you rush to learn these things. Medical coding is a lot to learn. It is not something that you can learn very quickly. And if you're trying to learn it very quickly, it is a very tall order because you're looking at learning medical terminology, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology. Not only that, you're learning the rules. You're learning medical law and ethics. You're learning how to look up the codes. You're looking at how to code for the outpatient side, so you're using the CPT book. And then if you're trying to learn inpatient, you're trying to learn the PCS book as well. That's a lot of learning to cram into a very short amount of time. So please consider carefully where you go. Make sure that the pace is something that you feel comfortable with. Do not be rushed, because a lot of times people will say, well, we have this special deal going on and we only have it for a limited time. Trust me, these schools have these limited deals all the time. So don't feel coerced into doing something that you're not ready to do, okay? If you're not ready to go through a fast-paced program, look around. There's plenty of programs for medical coding that are at normal paces, okay? And there's also self-paced courses. I always recommend going to the online versions of these. There's with the American Health Information Management Association and the American Academy of Professional Coders. Both of them have their own online programs for medical coding, and they are self-paced. So it's entirely up to you. And I will leave the links for those down in the description box as well. All right. So take your time, learn what you can, but take your time. All right. Next question. So I don't have any medical experience, but I am interested in medical coding. Do you have to take anatomy and physiology classes? Also, the AAPC recommends that I take them, but I'm just curious if it's possible to do without them. This is like learning a brand new language. It is impossible to learn how to medical code without having medical terminology, anatomy, and physiology. You have to have that. So they're recommending it, I think, because it's separate from their coding program. So it's an additional course that you have to pay for. So it's worth it. You need it. You absolutely have to have it. There is no getting around it, okay? Because it's going to be impossible for you to understand how to look this stuff up and understand the documentation if you don't know the basics. Anatomy, physiology, medical terminology, pharmacology. Next question. If you could give your perspective on gaps in the resume. As a coder, I feel like that's my only obstacle right now when it comes up in the interviews. So what the viewer is asking about is like when you've maybe taken a lot of time off, like there's been an extended gap in your work history, and it kind of asks you about it, like, hey, what happened here? If you took time off to be with your kids, just be honest. I took time off to raise my children. And, whatever your reasoning for that, it is your own business. I mean, people take time off to raise their children all the time. And sometimes it is just because you're in a single parent household, or maybe there was, somebody in your family that was sick, or maybe your children were sick. It could be anything, or maybe you just took time off because you wanted to watch your kids grow, and now you're ready to be in the workforce. It's not about why. It is more about what were you doing during that time. Now, if you weren't really trying to concentrate on learning anything because you wanted to enjoy, that gap, or maybe that gap was due to an illness, it is about showing what you are right now and what you're capable of right now. You need to show those qualities before anything and everything else. That cover letter for your resume, right? It needs to have, if there's a gap, you can explain in there that you can say, I took time off to raise my children. However, I continued to study, or I continued to read, or whatever the case may be. And then you can talk about the things that you're prepared to do now. Like maybe you were looking at their job listing and you notice that they use a certain electronic health record, and you've been watching YouTube videos. Talk about that. It's not about distracting, but it is about the fact that it's not about your past. It's about what you've got going on right now. You don't have to feel sorry, or you don't have to feel bad that you had a big gap in your employment history. It doesn't matter. What matters is right now. What are you bringing to the table right now? And are you willing to be a team player? Are you willing to show up every day? Are you willing to put your best foot forward? Are you willing to do all of these things? That is what they need to know. They need to know about you and what makes you unique. What gifts are you bringing to the table? Like I said, why you had a big gap is not really important. And don't feel bad about it, whatever you do. If you get asked about it, just a simple explanation as to why, and then move on. Okay, it doesn't need to be really gone over. All right. Some people will ask you, some people won't ask. They may ask out of general curiosity. Okay, well, she was raising kids, or he was raising kids. Okay, well, okay, move on. What are you bringing now? How are you prepared now? Those things never stop. I mean, being willing to get back into the workforce, I think, is really awesome, especially if you haven't been in a while. And if you're ready for it, you're there. So that's just my advice on that one. All right, next question. Does the employer provide the books, or is the coder responsible for the purchase of their coding books? Generally, the employers do issue the books. You get a new set of books every year. This may not be true for every place, but every place that I've been to, they've always issued me a set of books. So yeah, that's the answer on that one. Next question. Is there a type of facility, government, veterans hospitals, private physician offices, urgent care, inpatient or outpatient facilities, etc., that gives more opportunity than others for beginning coders with no work experience yet? For example, are some hospitals more open to take on newbie coders compared to private physician offices, or are government hospitals more open to beginners than private hospitals? So I think it would be the same everywhere as far as like who's willing to let in a brand new coder. The thing that I have always recommended is this: regardless of whether they are asking for 1 to 3 to 5 years of experience, you still apply anyway. It doesn't matter that they are asking for experience. Still apply anyway. They are never going to know who you are unless you put your resume in front of them. Now, be expecting not to get a call back for a while, because this is what sometimes happens. But don't get discouraged. This is what happens to all medical coders in the beginning. This is a really weird and quirky thing about medical coding, is that you have to have experience before you can get hired. But how are you supposed to get experience if no one will hire you? So there's a couple of ways. You go through a temporary agency, you put in your resume and you tell them that you are available for work as a medical coder. And in different cities, they have like specialty job recruiters that are for certain types of professions, medical being one of them. I went through that when I was, that was how I got my first job. So when I was looking, I had to go through a temporary agency myself, but they specialized in medical professions, medical coding being one of them, and that was how I was able to get in. So you do have to get creative in thinking of how can you get in. And as far as like looking for a job, it's not always going to be under medical coder or medical biller. Sometimes it's going to be under health information technician. Sometimes it's going to be under medical records tech. Sometimes it's going to be under the name of health information clerk. Sometimes it's going to be under the name of like health information management, records management, that kind of thing. So you have to carefully look at the wording that they're using in these job listings. Now, if you check out the job listings review that I've done, I will leave the playlist down in the description box below. And I do read the title of the job listing. So this way you can see the many different names that medical coders fall under. It's not always going to be medical coder or medical biller and coder. So that is something to think about when you are looking for a job. But put your resume out everywhere, okay? And don't give up. Whatever you do, do not give up, okay? Next question. When applying and waiting to get our first medical coding job, do you recommend any websites that we can practice so that we don't forget what we learned in school? No, I can't really recommend any in particular. I do have my own Patreon channel where I do exercises, coding exercises that I make up. And I do like crossword puzzles for medical terminology that I make. And it's just $1 per month and you get access to all that. Of course, there's different levels. And I do have levels that do include one-on-one tutoring time. So if you're interested in that, I will leave the link for my Patreon channel down in the description box below. But other than that, I would recommend continuing to use your practice workbooks. And if you've got any workbooks, like when you were in school, just use those and continue to do practice that way. Okay. Next question. Do you have any tips in preparing for pre-assessment tests for potential employers? No, because every pre-assessment test is going to be different. A lot of times different facilities are going to test your knowledge about different things. I've had pre-assessment tests that were 20 questions and I've had some that were 50 questions. So it really does depend. Some are multiple choice and some were like, one time I got a huge packet of just different cases to code, and that was just because they wanted to see what I could do. And I was applying for a same-day surgery coder, which I got. So that was their way of testing me. Was, we're going to give you this stack of case scenarios, how would you code these? And I was like, oh, okay. So I just coded them out and it was good to go. So it's just going to depend on wherever you're applying. But they will let you use your book. So don't think that you have to know these codes off the top of your head or you have to be able to figure this stuff out on your own. You know, you'll be able to use your books. So it's not like, you know, it wouldn't be anything just a regular coder wouldn't be able to do, right? So, and then the last question, what is the usual dress code? So it's going to depend on where you are. Some facilities will allow you to wear scrubs, not all, okay? I've only worked in one place that allowed us to wear scrubs, and it was okay. I mean, I got some really cute scrubs out of it that I got, you know. But other than that, it is business casual, okay? I tend to wear dresses and slacks and blouses. So never, ever, ever, ever wear jeans unless it is designated a day at the facility that you can wear jeans. Never wear jeans. Never wear t-shirts, guys. Don't do that to yourselves. You're working in a professional work environment. Not only that, these providers are going to go to you, and I have been in a room with 20 women before. 20 women who insisted on wearing jeans and t-shirts and whatever else they wanted to wear. And so I'm just like, no, I'm not going to dress like that. So I dressed up. I always looked nice. I always made sure I wore a dress, or I made sure I wore slacks and a blouse. And you know, when the providers came to the office, they were looking for a coder. They're in a room full of coders. What coder did they go to? Why? Because I looked like I was somebody that was in charge, because I was wearing professional outfit. So it's very important to always carry yourself that way. Always carry yourself professionally. Not only that, sometimes when, people are going to treat you how you present yourself to the world. However you are presenting yourself, if you look like you take very good care of yourself, if you are well dressed and, neat and clean and everything looks good, then you're going to get treated better. That is the society that we live in, okay? If you're going to go in with like no effort put into your appearance, that is how people are going to treat you. So always make sure that you are looking professional in the professional work environment. No funky, weird nails, okay? No weird hair color. That, I gotta say, I have seen too many people think that that's cute. It's not cute when, you're older and you're wearing purple or blue or pink hair. It's not cute. You are in a professional work environment. Don't do that, okay? You need to have normal color hair, all right? Because that is, people are going to respond to you how you are presenting yourself. There is a time and a place for creativity. There is a time and a place for that, for the wild hair colors and things like that. So keep it at those appropriate places, okay? So that's all I gotta say about that. But yes, I generally wear like slacks and blouse and dresses. That's what I wear. Okay, so keep that in mind. You are in a professional work environment. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. So if you have any questions for next week, please let me know. And if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.